The blade never strikes from where you are looking. If it did, you would see the shoulder tense. You would see the jaw lock. You would recognize the threat. You would brace yourself. You would fight. But the most dangerous strike is the one that comes while you are relaxed, while you are comfortable, while you are mid-laugh with someone you thought was on your side. That is why betrayal feels different. It doesn't feel like war. It feels like confusion. It feels like waking up in the middle of a peaceful night with a fire already burning inside your house. And by the time you smell the smoke, the damage is done. You weren't on a battlefield. You were at dinner. You were on a late-night call. You were sharing plans about the future. You were talking about your fears, your ambitions, your weaknesses. You opened the door because you believed the person standing there was a friend, a partner, an ally, and that is why it hurt. A stranger cannot betray you deeply because a stranger never had access to your back. The only person who can truly damage you is the one you allowed close enough to study your blind spots. And when it finally happens, when the lie surfaces, when the disrespect becomes undeniable, when the loyalty you assumed was there evaporates, you replay everything in your mind. The moments that once felt innocent now feel suspicious. The small comments, the strange pauses, the subtle smirks, the energy shifts you ignored, the red flags you painted white because you wanted peace, because you wanted connection, because you wanted to believe. Here is the brutal truth. The world does not operate on how you want it to be. It operates on human nature, and human nature is not built on loyalty by default. 500 years ago, in the ruthless political arena of Florence, Niccolò Machiavelli wrote something that still makes people uncomfortable today. He did not write about how humans should behave. He wrote about how they actually behave when power, fear, ego, and survival are involved. And his conclusion was ice cold. People are ungrateful. They are inconsistent. They are self-interested. They will protect themselves first. If you walk through life assuming everyone is loyal until proven otherwise, you are walking blindfolded through a minefield. You are not being noble. You are being naive, and the world punishes naivety without mercy. Now listen carefully. This video is not about paranoia. It is about perception. There's a difference. Paranoia sees enemies everywhere. Perception sees patterns, and patterns never lie. Before we go deeper, if you value this kind of raw truth, subscribe right now, because most channels will feed you comfort. This one feeds you clarity, and clarity is power. The mistake most men make is simple. They project their own character onto others. You value your word. If you promise something, you deliver. If someone trusts you with a secret, you guard it. Because you operate with integrity, you assume others operate the same way. That assumption is your vulnerability. You are projecting your reflection onto someone who does not share your code. Machiavelli warned about this exact weakness. He wrote that a man who tries to be good in every situation will be destroyed among so many who are not good. Think about that. If you insist on believing everyone is wired like you are setting yourself up to be used by those who are not. Trust is not a feeling. It is not chemistry. It is not vibes. It is not how comfortable someone makes you feel. Trust is a calculation based on repeated behavior under pressure. The moment you rely only on emotion, you become easy to manipulate. History is full of charming manipulators who understood this. Giacomo Casanova didn't win people with logic. He won them with emotion. Bernie Madoff didn't look like a villain. He looked trustworthy. That is how deception works. It doesn't announce itself. So from this moment forward, you stop trusting how someone makes you feel, and you start observing what they consistently do. There are 3 specific behavioral patterns that reveal a person who is incapable of loyalty. Not loud enemies, not obvious liars. These are subtler. These are the smiling ones, the agreeable ones, the morally loud ones. They are already in your life. They are already inside your circle. The first sign is the weaponized vulnerability, the premature confessor. This is the one that fools intelligent men. You meet someone new, a friend, a colleague, a romantic interest, and within hours, maybe days, they unload something heavy. Trauma, a tragic childhood, a dramatic betrayal story, a secret they claim they have never told anyone. And you feel honored. You think, this person trusts me. There must be something special about our connection. No, there is something strategic about their timing. Real trust is built slowly. It forms over shared experiences, over time, over consistency. When someone accelerates that process unnaturally, it is not intimacy. It is manipulation. Here is how it works. When someone gives you a deep secret too early, they create psychological debt. They gave you something vulnerable. Now unconsciously, you feel obligated to give something back. So you lower your guard. You share your own insecurities, your private frustrations, your financial concerns, your relationship issues. You believe you are bonding. In reality, you are arming them. A person who has no boundaries with their own privacy will have no boundaries with yours. If they can expose themselves to a near stranger, they can expose you just as easily when it benefits them. Ask yourself something uncomfortable. Why would someone trust you so quickly when they barely know your character? They don't know if you are loyal. They don't know if you are disciplined. They don't know if you are safe. So why the rush? Because it is not about trust. It is about leverage. They are either looking for a savior or looking for control. They want to speed run emotional closeness so they can anchor you before you have time to evaluate them. And once you are emotionally invested, it becomes harder to leave. The Romans did not hand out loyalty because someone told a sad story. The Spartans did not call someone brother after a week of conversation. Loyalty was earned through time, pressure, and shared struggle. That is how real alliances are built. When someone tries to fast-forward intimacy, you slow it down. When someone unloads trauma immediately, you listen calmly but reveal nothing in return. You observe. You stay neutral emotionally. You keep your cards face down, because a secret shared too soon is not a gift. It is a hook, and weak men bite hooks. If this already feels uncomfortable, good. That means you are recognizing patterns, and we are just getting started. Type "I see now" in the comments if a face just appeared in your mind, and stay with me, because the second sign is even more dangerous and far more common. The second type does not attack you. He does not insult you. He does not betray you openly. In fact, he will look calm, reasonable, mature. He will say things like, "I don't like drama. I just see both sides. I'm staying out of it." And at first that sounds intelligent, balanced, safe. But what sounds like wisdom is often disguised cowardice. This is the pathological neutral. This is the man who never stands where it costs him something. When conflict appears, he evaporates. When you're disrespected publicly, He adjusts his posture and studies the floor. When someone lies about you in a room, he does not correct it. When you confront him later, he shrugs. I didn't want to get involved. I'm cool with both of you. It's not my fight. Understand this clearly. Silence is not neutral. Silence is alignment with the strongest force in the room. Centuries ago, in the same ruthless political climate that shaped Machiavelli, neutrality was not admired. It was despised. In The Prince, Machiavelli wrote that when two powers collide, the one who stays neutral becomes hated by the loser and distrusted by the winner. Because neutrality is rarely moral, it is strategic self-preservation. Imagine this scenario. Someone insults you publicly, not joking, not playful, intentional disrespect. Your so-called friend is standing right there. He knows you are right. He knows the other person crossed a line. But instead of backing you, he says, "Let's just keep it cool." Or worse, he plays devil's advocate. Maybe he didn't mean it like that. He meant it exactly like that. The neutral friend does not protect truth. He protects access. He wants to stay liked by everyone. He wants to keep all doors open. He wants to be invited everywhere. He wants no enemies. But loyalty requires enemies. If you stand for something, someone will oppose you. If a man is terrified of losing social approval, he will sacrifice you to maintain it. And here is the dangerous part. The pathological neutral is not your enemy in the open. He is the man who steps aside while you get hit. He doesn't push you into the street. He just watches the bus coming and says nothing. Then he visits you in the hospital with sympathy. Machiavelli respected declared enemies more than undecided allies. An enemy shows his position. You can calculate him. You can defend against him. But the neutral friend stands on shifting ground. And when pressure hits, he chooses whichever side secures his comfort. Look at your circle. Who always says, "I don't want to choose sides"? Who avoids hard conversations? Who changes tone depending on who enters the room? Who laughs with you privately but goes quiet publicly? That is not balance. That is survival instinct without courage. Another Florentine thinker, Dante Alighieri, wrote something powerful in Divine Comedy. He suggested that the hottest places are reserved not for the violent, but for those who maintain neutrality in times of moral crisis. Why? Because violence at least requires conviction. Neutrality during injustice requires only fear. If your friend refuses to defend you when you are clearly right, he will absolutely refuse when the stakes are higher. Now let me take this deeper. The pathological neutral often disguises his fear as maturity. He will say you are too emotional. He will frame your demand for loyalty as drama. He will suggest that taking a stand is childish. But here is the truth. Avoiding conflict is easy. Standing in it costs something. The neutral does not want to pay. Watch what happens when you ask him to publicly support a decision. Not a war, something simple. We're choosing direction A or B. Where do you stand? Notice how he hesitates. Notice how he deflects. Notice how he says, "Both have good points." That is not wisdom. That is discomfort with commitment. Commitment is pressure, and pressure reveals character. The herd checks the room before forming an opinion. The loyal man checks his conscience first. When controversy rises, the neutral scans faces before speaking. He aligns with majority comfort, not principle. And when majority opinion shifts, so does he. This type of person is especially dangerous during success. When you start winning, when your influence grows, when your reputation rises, the neutral friend will clap the loudest. He will celebrate you publicly because it is safe. But the moment you become controversial, the moment you are attacked, the moment it costs something to stand beside you, he disappears. You will call him. No answer. You will text him. Delayed response. You will look around the room. He is not there. And later, when the storm passes, he returns with excuses. This is not coincidence. It is pattern. If someone is friends with your enemies, understand the mathematics. He cannot be fully loyal to both of you. At some point, information leaks. At some point, energy shifts. At some point, your private frustrations become public knowledge. You cannot sit at two tables during a war. If he is drinking with the man who disrespects you, he is comfortable around disrespect toward you. That is the calculation. Now here is the uncomfortable question. How many neutrals are in your circle right now? How many men around you want the benefits of your loyalty without the cost of giving it back? You don't need a large circle. You need a reliable one. A table with 12 men, 6 of whom hesitate when you need them, is not strength. It is liability. But before you start cutting people off emotionally, before you create distance, before you confront anyone, you must understand the third type. And this one is the most deceptive of all, because this one does not hide behind silence. This one hides behind virtue. And once you see it, you will never unsee it. The third type smiles the widest, speaks the softest, preaches the loudest. He will tell you he hates drama. He will remind you he is an empath. He will say honesty is his biggest flaw. He will brand himself as the good guy. And if you are not paying attention, you will mistake performance for character. This is the grandstander of virtue, the moral performer. He doesn't just act good, he advertises goodness. In psychology, there is a defense mechanism called reaction formation. It is when a person overcompensates in the opposite direction of what they truly feel. The man terrified of his own aggression talks non-stop about peace. The dishonest man talks obsessively about honesty. The manipulator builds an identity around being the most real person in the room. Centuries ago, Machiavelli explained something most people still don't understand. In The Prince, he wrote that it is not necessary for a ruler to possess every virtue, but it is absolutely necessary to appear to possess them. Everyone sees what you seem to be. Very few experience what you actually are. The modern manipulator has mastered this principle. He knows that in today's world, appearing moral is currency, so he performs it. He posts about justice constantly. He highlights his charity work. He lectures others on integrity. He positions himself as the protector, the conscience, the emotionally evolved one. But here is the pattern you must watch. Real integrity is quiet. Real loyalty is demonstrated under pressure. Real goodness does not need marketing. When someone is constantly reminding you how good they are building insulation against future exposure. Watch closely. The moral performer is incredibly kind to you when it is visible. He is generous when people are watching. He supports you publicly when applause is guaranteed, but in private, the tone shifts. The patience thins. The mask loosens. Observe how he treats those who cannot benefit him. The waiter, the Uber driver, the intern, the person with less status. If someone preaches empathy but snaps at service staff, you are not seeing empathy. You are seeing hierarchy calculation. Watch how he speaks about his other friends when they are not present. If he gossips about his best friend, the moment that friend leaves the room, Understand something painful. When you leave the room, you are the topic. Watch how he reacts when he is not praised. The moral performer feeds on validation. Compliments are oxygen. When you stop applauding, when you treat his goodness as normal instead of exceptional, something shifts. Subtle irritation appears. He becomes colder. He makes small digs. He tries to provoke a reaction, because beneath the virtue is ego. And ego, when starved, becomes aggressive. There's also something more dangerous hidden inside this type. He weaponizes morality. If you question him, he reframes you as the problem. After everything I've done for you, I'm the only one who cares about you. I can't believe you would think that about me. He doesn't defend his actions. He attacks your character for doubting his. That is not accountability. That is manipulation wrapped in righteousness. Machiavelli warned that predators do not announce themselves. The wolf does not knock and say he intends to eat you. He dresses in wool. He blends in with the sheep. He waits until the shepherd is distracted. The moral performer is the modern wolf in sheep's clothing. And here is the part that stings. This type often becomes the center of social groups because people love visible virtue. It feels safe. It feels comforting. It feels progressive. So the performer becomes untouchable. Criticizing him makes you look bitter. Questioning him makes you look insecure. That is by design. He builds social armor so that if you ever expose him, you will look like the aggressor. Now pause and think. Have you ever known someone who constantly talked about how much they hated drama, yet drama followed them everywhere? Have you ever met someone who proudly claimed they never lie, but somehow their stories always had small inconsistencies? Have you noticed someone who calls themselves humble, but somehow manages to dominate every conversation with their achievements? These are not coincidences. These are cracks in the mask. The performer wants you focused on his words, so you stop observing his behavior. He wants you analyzing his intentions, so you ignore his patterns. But behavior under pressure is the only reliable truth. Here is the psychological glitch that keeps you blind. It is called normalcy bias. You assume that because nothing catastrophic has happened yet, nothing catastrophic will happen. You assume that because someone hasn't betrayed you so far, they won't. You cling to the version of them you want to be real. Because admitting the truth costs you something. It costs comfort. It costs social security. It might cost the group. It might cost loneliness. And your ego would rather protect its pride than protect your future. So you make excuses. He's just passionate. She's just sensitive. He didn't mean it like that. You gaslight yourself to maintain peace. But peace built on illusion is temporary. Machiavelli did not write for comfortable men. He wrote for those who wanted to survive in hostile environments. And survival requires the death of fantasy. You must see people as they are, not as you hope they will become. By now, faces are forming in your mind. The premature confessor, the pathological neutral, the moral performer. But suspicion is not enough. Observation is step 1. Action is step 2. In the next part, we move from awareness to testing. Because you do not destroy relationships based on intuition alone. You apply pressure. And pressure reveals truth faster than conversation ever will. When you apply weight to weak structure, it cracks. And it is better for it to crack now while the stakes are low, than later when everything you built depends on it. Now we move from awareness to action. Seeing the pattern is not enough. Even paranoid men see patterns. What separates the perceptive from the delusional is proof, and proof only appears under pressure. Machiavelli never trusted appearances. He tested alliances, he measured reactions, he observed what people did when the environment shifted. Because character is stable in comfort, but it mutates under stress. If you suspect someone in your circle fits one of these three archetypes, you do not accuse, you do not argue, you do not announce suspicion, you apply pressure quietly. Engineers don't assume a bridge is strong because it looks solid. They send weight across it. If it cracks, better now than when thousands are crossing. Relationships are no different. The first stress test is simple, the boundary test. This is for the premature confessor. The premature confessor feeds on access and emotional dependency. They create urgency. They create crisis. They make you feel needed, important, responsible. And if you are a man who prides himself on being reliable, you fall into the trap easily. So here is the test. The next time they unload a problem, ask for your time. Demand your emotional energy. You respond with one word. No. Not aggressive, not apologetic, calm. I can't do that. I'm not available. I don't have the capacity right now. Then you go silent. Watch carefully. A healthy person respects boundaries. They might be disappointed, but they adjust. They do not punish you. They do not escalate. They do not attack your character. The manipulator reacts immediately. They guilt trip you. I thought you cared. They accuse you. You've changed. They victimize themselves. I guess I have no one. Or they withdraw dramatically to make you chase. Why? Because your boundary exposed the truth. Their vulnerability was not about connection. It was about control. The moment you refused to submit, the mask slipped. If saying no destroys the relationship, understand something clearly. It was never a relationship. It was a contract where your role was emotional labor. And contracts built on obligation collapse when obligation is denied. The second stress test is the accountability test. This is for the pathological neutral. The neutral thrives in gray space. He survives by never committing fully. So you remove the gray. You create a situation that requires him to take a visible stance. It can be simple. We need to choose direction A or B. I support A. Where do you stand? Hold eye contact. Do not rescue him from discomfort. Notice what he does. Does he answer directly? Or does he start circling the question? Does he say, both have good points? Does he joke? Does he delay? A man who cannot take a small stand will never take a large one. You can escalate the test slightly. Share an opinion you know is correct, but slightly unpopular. Watch him. Does he check the room before responding? Does he adjust his answer depending on who is listening? The herd scans for safety before speaking. The loyal man speaks from principle first. The neutral is terrified of social cost. And when real conflict arrives, cost increases. If he cannot support you in minor friction, he will absolutely abandon you in crisis. The third stress test is the validation withdrawal. This is for the moral performer. The performer feeds on praise. He has built an identity around being admired for virtue. So you remove the applause. When he talks about his charity work, you respond neutrally. Nice. When he posts moral lectures, you don't engage. When he signals goodness, you treat it as normal behavior instead of extraordinary. Then observe. Does he escalate his performance? Does he increase intensity? Does he subtly criticize you for not caring enough? Does he attempt to provoke emotion? The narcissistic core cannot tolerate indifference. Negative attention is better than none. When validation disappears, insecurity rises. And insecurity reveals true character faster than confrontation ever will. You are not attacking. You are observing reaction to change. Pressure does not create character. It exposes it. Now here is something important. Do not run these tests with anger. Do not run them with ego. Run them clinically, calm, detached. You are gathering data. Machiavelli wrote that disorder should never be allowed to continue just to avoid war, meaning do not ignore warning signs just to maintain temporary peace. A small conflict today prevents catastrophic betrayal tomorrow. Once you run these tests, results will appear quickly, and when they do, you will feel something heavy. Disappointment. Because cutting people off is not glamorous. It is lonely at first. Your circle shrinks, invitations reduce, noise decreases, but clarity increases. Here is where most men make a mistake. They confront loudly, they accuse, they expose, they attempt to win arguments. That is amateur behavior. If someone has already proven they manipulate, confronting them gives them one last stage. They will cry, they will gaslight, they will rewrite history, they will recruit allies. Suddenly you become the villain. Do not give them that opportunity. Masters do not announce departure. They fade. You become busy. You become unavailable. You reduce access. You stop oversharing. You stop explaining. Energy withdrawn quietly is more powerful than rage expressed loudly. The premature confessor will find another ear. The neutral will attach to another strong personality. The performer will find a new audience. Let them. Your responsibility is not to reform broken character. Your responsibility is to secure your perimeter. You are building something. Maybe a business, maybe discipline, maybe reputation, maybe internal peace. You cannot build while constantly defending against internal sabotage. A kingdom with spies inside its walls eventually collapses, not from outside invasion, but internal decay. And this is adulthood most people refuse to accept. Your circle must decrease in size, but increase in quality. A table of 10 where half are unreliable is weakness. A table of 2 with absolute loyalty is power. But there is one final layer most people never consider. The hardest traitor to identify is the one in the mirror. And in the final part, we address that directly. Because if you carry these same traits inside yourself, you will recreate the same circle again and again. Now we address the final and most uncomfortable question. After everything you've heard, after the patterns, the tests, the masks, there is one person you must examine before you touch anyone else. Look in the mirror. Are you the premature confessor? Are you the neutral who avoids friction? Are you the performer who advertises goodness instead of living it? Because here is the law most men ignore. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you tolerate and what you resemble. If you constantly overshare your pain to create attachment, you will attract people who exploit pain. If you avoid standing up for others, you will be surrounded by people who avoid standing up for you. If you perform virtue for applause, you will build friendships based on image, not substance. Machiavelli once wrote that it is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver. But the most dangerous deception is self-deception. If you lie to yourself about your own weaknesses, you will never see betrayal coming because you are part of the same ecosystem. This is not about becoming cold. It is not about becoming paranoid. It is about becoming precise. The world does not reward the naive. It consumes them. The world does not reward the paranoid. It isolates them. The world rewards the perceptive. Perception means you see clearly without emotional distortion. You do not assume loyalty, you verify it. You do not accuse without proof. You test. You do not explode in anger. You withdraw strategically. That is power. Power is not controlling others. Power is removing their ability to control you. When you stop fearing betrayal, you stop over-investing emotionally. When you stop over-investing emotionally, you observe calmly. When you observe calmly, manipulation becomes obvious, and something interesting happens. Your circle shrinks, but it solidifies because there are loyal people in this world. They exist. They are just rare. They are not loud. They are not dramatic. They are not constantly announcing their integrity. They show up. They defend you when it costs them something. They respect your boundaries without guilt tactics. They stay consistent whether you are winning or losing. They do not need an audience to behave correctly, but you will never recognize them if your time and energy are consumed by confessors, neutrals, and performers. You have been watering weeds and wondering why nothing grows. Reclaim your energy. Stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Stop defending yourself to people who enjoy doubting you. Stop proving loyalty to people who hesitate to return it. When you detach from the need to be liked, respect increases. When you detach from the fear of losing people, better people appear. This is not theory. This is pattern recognition. Look at history. The strongest alliances were built slowly, tested under fire, proven through shared struggle. Not through emotional intensity, not through moral speeches, not through neutrality. And once you understand this, something shifts internally. You stop chasing approval. You stop oversharing. You stop begging for validation. You move differently. You speak less. You observe more. You react slower. And because of that, you are harder to manipulate. Walk quietly. Watch hands, not words. Measure consistency, not charm. Study reaction under pressure, not performance in comfort. And when you identify dead weight, remove it without announcement. No dramatic exits, no public speeches, no revenge tours. Silence is stronger. The amateur declares war. The strategist reallocates energy. There is one final truth you must accept. Loneliness for a season is better than betrayal for a lifetime. Temporary isolation builds strength. Repeated betrayal builds trauma. Choose strength. If this video forced you to reevaluate your circle, type precision in the comments. I want to see who is actually thinking and not just listening. Share this with one person who needs clarity but won't admit it. And if you've made it this far, you're not average. Most people clicked off when it became uncomfortable. You stayed. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we don't chase comfort here. We study power, psychology, and human nature without filters. And understand this: what I can say publicly is limited. Platforms reward softness and suppress uncomfortable truth. There are deeper layers of psychological strategy that cannot be discussed openly without being flagged or buried by the algorithm. Those exist behind the join button. If you want the uncensored breakdowns, the advanced psychological frameworks, the tactical social dynamics, the material most people are not ready to handle, step into the inner level. Most won't. That's the point. Because power has always belonged to the few who are willing to see clearly, think independently, and act decisively. Be the man who sees. Be the man who tests. Be the man who cannot be surprised. And once you reach that level of perception, Betrayal stops being something that destroys you. It becomes something you detect early and eliminate quietly. That is real power.